Behind me is one of my most favorite garden spaces of all time to date. But before I give you the proper tour, let's go back to where it started. This is Homegrown Gardens on the road. Today is a very exciting day because I'm taking you to what is now my biggest garden space that I've done to date, and we are up in Barrington Hills. It's just like really charming. I don't know, it's a magical little spot in Illinois. My first job up here, so I'm excited to show you what it's all about. One thing Kathy really wanted to do in her whole entire property is to make it so she never wants to leave. So she's literally creating anything and everything that she could possibly want here, including a dream pool space and soon to be dream garden space. Kathy has a beautiful space behind me that's already laid out to a certain extent. We are actually going to be overhauling this entire space, starting with a moon gate. We plan on doing a perennial, beautiful rose garden around it, so it'll definitely have like climbing roses weaving through it. Kathy really wanted to create the vibe of a cottage English countryside garden, and you can see that already in her current design. She has this cute little brick border with the evergreens, kind of creating a hedge. So we'll keep this throughout the entire space. Her shed is beautiful. It already exists. We are actually going to be painting it a different color, but TBD on that. We're waiting to kind of get the garden spaces in place before we pick out paint color. Behind me, she has an existing fire pit area. We don't need to do much to, except for clean up the perennials around. But when you walk down this central path, we're actually creating 2 garden spaces on each side. We've been here about 4 days so far, so you can start to see the material choices that we're using. She already had this existing retaining wall, which we actually straightened out. It was kind of falling in a little bit, so we've pushed it back and remortared it and made it nice and sturdy. And we're actually using a thicker stone for the central boxes, which will actually be round. So you walk into a central spot here, and then it branches off. We'll have some steel boxes, some cedar tone, a big trellis behind me. This will all get lit up, and irrigation is a must in this garden space. So we're going to the 9s on this one. These gorgeous hydrangea trees are very established, and they're just getting a little bit too overgrown. So we're actually going to try to relocate them and transplant them at my property. And she's going to get brand new, fresh, little younger, smaller, more controlled hydrangea trees. Another detail in this central path that we're going to be doing is ripping out all the sod. Nobody needs to be mowing these little pockets of awkward sod. So we'll be putting in some beautiful hostas, some shade-loving items, along with some Annabelle hydrangeas that will flop over the retaining wall and create like a beautiful little essence of a cottage English garden. Okay, so follow me to the other side. You can see that this caliber of a garden space doesn't quite match the rest of the property, right? That space over there was pretty blank, but this one she's actually been trying to grow vegetables out of. So right about here, this is going to be where we're gonna put a blue stone patio in with a fountain. She likes the combination of all the elements, right? She'll have fire, she'll have water, she'll have earth clearly. So it's important that we kind of integrate in these little artistic moments throughout the whole garden space, because she clearly has this vibe going on here, so we want to carry that throughout. So when you walk here, you can go here. There'll be an arbor with vines all the way through it. We'll exit the garden, and it's actually going to drop down. She has this beautiful scenic overlook, so I really wanted to capture that, because why wouldn't you want to be out here looking out at this backdrop behind me? The fire encourages you to go inward, right? To look at each other. But out here, we want to take advantage of this view. So we're actually walking into now what will soon be an asymmetrical bluestone patio that will open up nice and wide out here. We'll make this really functional. So she's looking up at her beautiful garden space and looking out at the backdrop behind her. And then this will connect the dots back into the garden space. We'll have another entrance point here. It'll swoop back in to the front where the moon gate is. Bada bing, bada boom. So to capture more of this beautiful landscape behind her, we're actually relocating a lot of these grasses. They are awesome, they're gorgeous, but they really obstruct the view up here. I think we're doing roses here. We'll do some more hydrangeas, the endless summer hydrangeas, some Russian sages. The grasses will go down. So this will make a whole lot more sense behind us. On the other side of the shed, we'll be continuing this path here. This just kind of was like an afterthought. So we'll do something more intentional here where the path gets continued. This zigzag border that has a lot of broken bricks will go away. We'll clean it up nice and actually create an island in the middle. A lot of berries spread out. They're perennial and they spread. So I want to do a central strawberry box of some sort, and it might be stone to match the others. I don't know. I haven't quite decided. There's so many creative outlets in this garden space that are kind of coming to me. So this one is the last little piece of the pie. So I'm thinking right now this is going to be a strawberry box, and then this will all be perimeter berries. She does have grapevines. Spruce them up and make sure they get a good pruning so they can bounce back next year. One cool thing that I don't want to forget of what we're doing, we're actually putting in steel posts, 4x4 posts, down this central path and stringing Edison bulbs through it. So when you enter this magical garden space, you're gonna have a portal really towards your fire pit of just this Edison light taking you, to one of the many promised lands here. So now what do we do next? We have a lot to do. We will be starting the stone boxes tomorrow. We've gotten the stone down here. And when I say we, I definitely don't mean me. Those things are heavy. So props to Jose and Enrique and Corbett. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. So that is the next step in terms of building the boxes. I need to creatively talk with Kathy and find out what kind of fountain she wants. So there's gonna be a laundry list of things to do here to keep me busy. So isn't that incredible, the blank slate we truly started with? Now let's check in on what it was like during construction. Welcome back. We are at Kathy's garden. It has been about 5 weeks. Basically, we've kind of finished up one side almost, you'll see, and we're really hitting it hard on the bigger side, the more grander side. So this is where we're at in life. We have really created the shape, the foundation, the footprint of what you can see. Pretty soon we'll have the steel in. That has yet to happen, but you can start to get a feel for the grandness of the central space, which is all in stone, which is awesome because it allows us to create curves in the garden space. This is the first time we've done this. We've never done anything other than linear square boxes, but with this awesome masonry work, we can actually create rounded curves. Let me show you what's been going on the other side though. So you have a beautiful vantage point now of what this stone beauty looks like when you walk in. Obviously we'll fill this in with granite. We have to finish the trellis a little bit, but you're starting to really see the concept of this central spot where you branch out and go in any which direction. This has actually taken quite a long time to finesse because we had to shave down every single layer of the stone. This is raw material. So to make sure that it all lands perfectly on top in a straight line. So Jose and Enrique, they have had their hands busy. They have been working really hard to make this happen in the last 5 weeks. So one thing when you're on the job site, you have to be very careful about where you walk because you could very easily trip and fall. This is how we create our lines. So why these strings are where they are is we're making sure that we line up that back of the box with this back of the box so that if you took a step back, everything is in perfect alignment. So really this is just creating our parallel lines that we need to work with it. So this lumber that we're using on this project is cedar tone lumber. It's an awesome alternative to cedar. I know everybody loves traditional cedar, but cedar tone actually stays brown. So it's found in Menards. We love working with it. It's a really good lumber to cut. I'm finishing up my year 4 here in Homegrown Gardens, and from year 1 to year 4, it has barely shifted a shade. If anything, it might go a little lighter brown, but really it maintains that nice juicy brown color, whereas cedar by now for sure would have weathered to gray if you don't treat it. Oh, we have one more thing, one more creative thing. This post here, this is a steel post that will house the lights, and the original plan is to put string lights all the way down so you have like a straight shot towards the fire pit area with Edison bulbs, and we still may do that. But then Kathy goes, can we make the tops of these glow? She found these really cool green glass toppers for these posts. So we bought one for now, and we're gonna see how it looks tonight to see if it's worth our while to figure out how to manufacture, getting wiring up to here to make this glow at night. Super cool, super unique, and super magical. I'm calling this lovingly my Rome project. It definitely wasn't built in a day, and it took about 4 months to complete. And here we are, the garden is kicking, it is thriving. She's actually had a garden party, which I attended, as did Corbett a couple weeks ago.
I'm blown away by it, and I built the damn thing. I'm like walking through going, this is incredible.
And it's just been a dream come true to see this space manifest. So let me take you through and give you a proper tour. The grand entrance into this grand space starts with, of course, a moon gate. We planted these roses a couple months back. They're doing really, really well. I love the pop of coral against the steel, and it just really sets the tone on what's to come. So pretty soon, in another year or so, this whole arbor will just be covered and littered in roses that not only smells amazing, but really draws your attention inward. We rearranged some of the existing boxwoods. This was all boxwood land, and this was a little barren. So what we decided to do was create a little symmetry through the central path through, and we relocated this chunk of boxwoods to there, and then we equalized the sides with roses. So as you come through, again, the rose theme continues. The backdrop was already established with the espalier trees. We had to replace a couple posts, just tidy it up a little bit. In these two pockets, we actually put in strawberries, and they're doing so well. I'm excited to get this berry patch going next year. He does have this beautiful fountain that we lined with lavender all the way around. So as that gets established, it's just more for the senses. There's every aspect of luxury in this garden space, whether it's visual, whether it's scent, or just simply the energetic vibe of this space. It truly is a one-of-a-kind garden. Behind the shed here, we decided to pop in a berry garden. We are working on establishing the raspberries this year in this trellis, and we repurposed these grapevines. We gave them a nice hefty little pruning and replaced the post to clean it up. These little guys, these are dwarf raspberries, so hopefully by next season this all fills in and takes over. The shed, if you recall, we were discussing what color we were gonna paint the shed. And we were trying to go with actually surprisingly yellow, but all of the splotches of yellow we kept putting up here just looked like a bumblebee threw up, and not in a cute fuzzy way. So we had to pivot, and we landed on this beautiful olive green color with the black accents. She had these window boxes custom made out of the same lumber that we used in the garden space. So every little detail ties in together with all these different pockets. Coming in to the main stretch, this was already existing, the decomposed granite and the flagstone steppers. We gave it a little refresh, but the biggest thing we did in this main stretch is install these awesome steel posts that matches the steel in our garden spaces. And then we used that to string these Edison bulb lights down, so you really have a direct channel to the fire pit area. We took out all the sod through here because nobody needs to mow sod, especially in shade. And we popped in some more astilbe with some hostas and these beautiful hydrangeas that are Annabelles, and they flop over. So the idea in a couple years is that this really just fills in, and you'll have this cluster of these big, beautiful balls of hydrangeas. Before I take you into the big space, let's go into the smaller garden area first. She already had this table and chairs, so we wanted to keep this as a central seating space. And what inspired this whole stone box that surrounds me are these boxwoods right here. She wanted to keep those, and so thus inspired what's surrounding. We mixed and mingled all three elements in this garden space. We have a little lumber, we have a little steel, and the stone really sets the stage for the prominent showpiece in the middle. Above me, of course, we finished it off with Edison bulbs as much as possible. That was the goal here, is to light this baby up, and I think we did a phenomenal job. So let's go check out the bigger side of this immaculate garden space. I knew I needed some symmetry in the garden space, but this was a lot larger of a footprint. So I took that same circular idea with the stone, plopped it in the center, and instead of doing seating, we did a beautiful fountain. So the focal point in this entire side of the garden is this amazing bubbler fountain that actually comes from London. This was special ordered. Love the rocks below. It has kind of a rainbow color and texture to it. Super stunning. These boxwoods we installed fresh, so they haven't hedged out yet. We did pockets of flowers because this is such an expansive garden space. So in the corner, higher up L-shaped boxes, we transition into the lumber again, and then we go through these central arbors. We replicated a bench that we installed in Naperville this year for the first time. We loved it so much over there that we decided to anchor it here. Instead of having a pathway all the way through, we really wanted this space to feel hugged in. So we landed on this really nice bench. This is made up of cedar tone lumber. The 2x4 material flipped vertically gives a really neat look when you look at it versus a flat look. So when you come onto this property, it's just amazing, all the beautiful views. So we wanted to take advantage of that. We decided to split this box open, create stairs down onto an overlook patio area. I mean, the views, they don't get old here. Whether you're looking back at this beautiful trellis of tomatoes or forward over the rolling hills with the native plants, it really truly is a special spot. When we were designing this space, we knew we had to lift up the land because it was a pretty hefty slope. So we put in these awesome outcropping stones, these nice chunks of stone. So last but not least, we'll take you out to the fire pit area, which was here. We just freshened it up a little bit. So there's not too much we did here in terms of the patio area, other than we just really wanted to mirror these stones in the asymmetry, and we peppered that out throughout the entire garden space. So there are plenty of beautiful views to be enjoyed in the garden space, but I actually have one more that exists a little higher up. It's almost a bird's eye view of this incredible landscape. So let's go see what that looks like. Looking down from this higher up vantage point is just incredibly stunning. I actually can't believe this all exists and I designed it. It's truly an amazing feat, and I'm so proud of just the creation that exists now, whereas before it was just so lackluster. So dream big, get your garden in your backyards, and if you need one like this, you know who to call. Got this bug. Nature everywhere. You wanna do the zip line?
Fuck yeah, I do.
I mean, when was the last time you did a zip line?
Like 3-4 days ago.
Oh, stop.
Give you a wedgie.
Okay, uh-huh. I want one of these. I feel so exhilarated. I had a moment where my life flashed before my eyes when I thought I was gonna be one with that tree, but it was all good.
You love nature. So
I do, I embraced it. I was like, I'm here for this.